Hi, Jody Hardesty here with Empowered Heart Connections. Have you ever heard that cool song by Paula Abdul in the 90s called Opposites Attract? It's a really entertaining video if you haven't seen it. She dances with a cat. It's super fascinating. I loved Paula Abdul back in the day. But anyhow, there's also a saying that opposites attract. And the reason why people, I think, created that saying is because many situations, opposites really do attract. Because we can balance each other out whenever we're having opposing ideas about something. If we have the core value that's the same, and that's the trick there. So there's certainly couples where they're so opposite and they want completely different things, and it's probably never going to come to a middle ground for the two of them. For example, if one wants kids and one doesn't, that's kind of a deal breaker. You can't really sort of have a kid or sort of not have a kid. You have to kind of have a conclusion there. So opposites don't always attract if the differences are so extreme that there's no way to align in the middle or meet in the middle. However, there are many reasons why opposites are drawn to each other, because many of us can get stuck in a rut of our own perspective and can end up what's called confirmation bias, is finding reasons to validate our belief system. So when we Google it, we maybe go to sources that will align with us, no matter what the belief system is. And having a partner who can question that thinking and may have a confirmation bias in the opposite direction can really benefit you, because it can encourage you to think outside the box. And it's important, obviously, if you are opposites or if you're drawn to an opposite person, to make sure that you are communicating clearly what your needs and wants are, but also being clear about what your underlying value system is. So, for example, when I work with couples where one is a dreamer and he or she is really excited about taking risks and chances, and they're going to make millions, and they're going to be having a mansion, and they have all these wonderful dreaming ideas that may or may not be able to come to fruition, but they're with a partner who's down here in realityville. They're very risk averse. They're really reluctant to take chances, spend money that may not or may not bring a reward. So they're really in opposite spectrums of the dreamer land, and both are valid, both are valuable, and both can be really impactful in a relationship. And you can see how they could really benefit each other. So when the dreamer dreams without any baseline, without anything holding them down to reality, it can be really difficult for them to have progress. They can just kind of be having dream after dream after dream and have very little follow through. But if they're with somebody who is logical and thoughtful and maybe a little bit more type A, a little bit less likely to be risk taking, they can really bring each other together. So I've seen a lot of success with couples whenever they are kind of opposites, particularly with this dreamer versus logical and organized person, where they can really be successful. So they can come together if they're good at communicating, which is another really important topic. If they're able to communicate and go, hey, I love that you're a dreamer. I love that you have these really great ideas, but I also need to have some sense of stability and safety over here so that when we dream, I don't feel like I'm falling through space. And for the dreamer to know that they're able to really expand on these ideas, these dreams, and be hopeful and think of exciting opportunities, but also not be totally grounded by the risk-averse person. So the two of them really need to be able to come together to find a common ground with how do you do that? How do you take some risks, but also have money in the bank to keep you safe in case it doesn't go well? Or how do you maybe take some gambles, but not to the point where you're spending all of your life savings? So these couples, I have found, when people are drawn to opposites, can be really some of the most wonderful power couples, because they really do help each other to learn and expand their horizons. And you can even think about this even a political way. If someone is completely aligned on one side or the other, and they're unable to see the benefit of the other side, then that can really keep them stuck in a perspective that they may not be able to have any movement in. So there's many areas in life where opposites, if you share the same value system, so if the value systems are aligned, that opposites really can enhance each other. And the values, again, it doesn't necessarily have to be I'm a dreamer or I'm not, but the value of, are we motivated to basically have safety together? Are we kind and respectful to each other? Are we motivated to have integrity? Are we motivated to be honest and trustworthy? Are we motivated to be respectful and kind? So these are all value systems that are kind of those baseline value systems that really make a difference on whether or not you can expand your horizons on having some opposite opinions. So some other opposite perspectives are how you manage money. So if you can have a connection with somewhere in the middle, right? Where if somebody is going to be blowing a lot of money and somebody's not going to be spending any money, then they may not have an ability to come to a middle ground. But those are some basic financial values that you can kind of have some flexibility on. But the baseline, again, needs to be the same. The baseline is that, okay, I don't feel comfortable living without any income to take a chance, right? Versus the other person who I really need to have a lot of income. So you do have to have some balance there where that financial kind of value system sits. But there are a lot of ways that we can connect with each other, especially in these difficult situations. But this is partly why it's really important when you're first meeting somebody to make sure that, well, what are your dreams? What are your hopes? What are you thinking about for your future goals and plans? And does that consist of, for example, children? Does that consist of having an open relationship? Does that consist of maybe not having a home or renting versus having a home? Does that consist of traveling? So really assessing what those value systems are from the very beginning to see if the opposites that you are drawing are really benefiting you or if they're keeping you stuck in a situation where you're not able to find a match because you're drawn to somebody who's too in opposition to your lifestyle or your perspective. Another example is whether someone's a party or not, right? Certainly there's a middle ground there too, but if you're drawn to people who are out drinking, maybe doing drugs, and you're not that person and you're not wanting to have that sort of lifestyle, that's going to cause a lot of conflict in a relationship. So that's an area where opposites do not attract. If somebody is experiencing a lot of drug and alcohol challenges, they're probably going to have whole other battle that they're having to fight before they can ever be an appropriate partner in a relationship. So, but there's a middle ground for that. If you're somebody who likes to go out and have drinks on occasion and the person that you're drawn to is also in a similar mindset, then you can find that commonality there, even if you do have maybe one's a dreamer and one's not a dreamer perspective. But those are some issues that are really important to assess whenever you are evaluating whether or not you're going to be compatible with a partner. So again, opposites can be really helpful for each other. They can really help each other grow. My husband and I are opposite in many ways and have really balanced each other out over the years and have really helped each other grow and understand things from a different perspective. But the baseline of love, trust, respect, honesty had to be there first before you can even hear an opposing idea. So that's just something to consider, is especially if you are in opposition to somebody, is how are you presenting information that is information that they can hear. So are you saying, well, for me, this doesn't work, or for me, I really struggle with that, or for me, I'm confused about this perspective, or are you being too direct and kind of attacking the person? So to make sure that whenever you are dealing with somebody who has an opposite perspective, that you're doing it in a respectful and loving way. And this can make a big difference on whether or not you grow together or have conflict. So Opposites can be aligned. They can actually help each other grow and support each other. But again, there needs to be those baseline value systems that are the same or similar, and also a really good ability to communicate needs in a way where you can be heard. I hope you guys find this helpful, and thank you for watching.